Hello Year 11, welcome to the first tutor session for English. In today's session we're looking at how to revise for English, that's language and literature. So in this tutor session I will explain some revision strategies that are applicable to English. You will listen carefully and make notes. Hopefully your tutor will pause and let you take those notes. I will show you where to go for further resources and help, and then you will summarise what you have learnt, pick out which strategies are going to work best for you, and then actually start revising if you haven't started already. The biggest obstacle is getting started. Work out what you do know, so make a mind map, a list, a bullet point list of everything you know about the topic. So that could be as broad as An Inspector Calls, or it could be as simple as Sheila Burling. From that, work out then what you want or need to know. Pick the revision strategy and then do it. So I'll take you through how to do these things now. Your exercise books are your first port of call. This is an example of a really good exercise book of notes. It's got clear headings, it's used different colours, it's got things put in boxes that are key information. Your books are your learning journeys. If you've dated and titled your books effectively, you'll know exactly what topic you're looking at. You'll know exactly what the learning was that took place, and from that you should then be able to make some notes. Making notes from your exercise book notes is a really good strategy for further consolidating what you know about a topic. If there's anything on there that you think, I'm not sure about that, you make a note of it so you can go back to your teacher. You could ask a friend, what was it we did this lesson? I don't understand this note I've made. Or you could then Google it or look in your revision book. Writing your notes out again might seem pointless. However, cognitively, which is to do with your brain, the actual process of writing things out can help it embed into your brain and long-term memory. From your notes, the next strategy is to think about cue cards or flashcards. Here are some really nice examples of cue cards or flashcards made by me. So for example, for the language questions, you want to put things on there that will actually help you remember what each question is asking you to do. That's the sort of thing you need to revise for English language, which is a skills-based exam. Knowing what the question is, for example, that question 2 on language paper 1 is the summary question, language paper 2, and it's worth 8 marks. Knowing that you need to have key points that you learn about the thing that the question asks you to look at. Key notes about which sources you're using, what you need to do for each question, and how to structure your answer. That's the sort of thing that goes on a cue card or a flashcard. Example flashcards for literature might be in the shape of a character flashcard. So I've started with Sheila, and I've gone for key quotations first. I've put them in chronological order across the play, so I know what she's saying or how she's being described or what her attitudes are or her behaviour all the way through the play. And then after those key quotations, I've put some key words for her development, and I've used the key quotation sheets that we've been giving you, and I've also used the vocabulary sheets that we have available for each of the literature texts. I've then summarised at the end the big ideas or the themes that are explored through the character of Sheila. That's one example of how you can structure a flashcard for the literature exam. You could do one of each of those for the characters in your set text, and then you could also do one on theme. You might want to pause here and make some notes. Questions and answers are an excellent way to test your knowledge. Again, here's an example of a cue card for questions and answers. So you'd have on one side the questions for Macbeth, so you can test your knowledge, and then on the back you'd have the answers. You can then test yourself. Your parents or guardians can help test you. You could do this with a friend. Revising with a friend or a peer is another really good revision strategy. Testing each other, socialising, talking through your notes is excellent learning. Your revision guides. Whether you've bought the revision guides from us or purchased them yourself, They are a brilliant resource for you to use as part of your revision. Now, I understand the revision guides are quite full and it might be a little bit confusing about what you can actually get out of them. So, first thing you need to do is look at the contents page. Work out what it is that you want to focus on. Choose that focus. Start with what you already know. So make a mind map, make a list, bullet points, whatever. Brainstorm everything that you can remember about that topic, and then your revision guide is used to plug your knowledge gaps and to test your knowledge. If you don't mind writing in books, I'd suggest you write on the revision guide or use a highlighter. Make notes from the revision guide on the things that you didn't know or the things that you've remembered now you've revised. Use the guide's features such as the summaries, the key quotations and the hints and tips. And then look at the back of the guide for model answers and practice questions. Here's what they look like. So for the snap revision guides that we've sold you, you've got your contents page. So if you know you're feeling a bit shaky on the plot, go to the right pages. They're really nicely organised, but you do have to actually read them. On the right-hand sides of the pages, you've got key questions to learn or key quotations to learn, a summary of what has been discussed on the left-hand side, and then some questions to test yourself, and the answers are at the back. Notice that there is exam practice at the bottom of that green box, and every section or page is structured like that. Towards the end of the revision guide, there are some annotated responses. They give you a grade 5 response and a grade 7. These are excellent. Within them, you've got a footnote. So wherever the revision guide wants to show you what the examiner would say, they've given you a little 1 or a 2. And then on the right-hand side, they give you the comment from the examiner. After you've read, maybe made your own notes on the annotated responses, there's then some questions. Practice questions. As I've said before, these are at the bottom of some of the pages, but they're also at the back of the reading and the writing booklets. Planning and writing responses is an excellent way to consolidate and prove that you know what you know, and then again, addressing any gaps. If you feel like you can't answer a question, have a go at planning it first. Planning a response to an exam question, completing a past paper is excellent once you're fully confident with the demands of the paper. You need to know how to answer the question first. So if you're still a little bit shaky on that, I suggest you talk to your teacher. Planning practice is as important, if not more, than the actual writing of the response. It's about the thought process that you take as you deconstruct the question, annotate the question, put down what you think you want to write about, and then you shape it into a logical order. Try and practice under timed conditions. If you need to know the timings again, you can access this information on Firefly. There are plenty of practice questions on the internet if you just Google them. They're in your revision guides, and we have paper copies in the cupboard. Just ask your teacher. You might want to pause here to digest some of the things that I've been talking about already. Quizzing yourself. We do quizzes in class in the shape of a 5 a day. It's part of your long-term memory recall. Use those in your books to help you. Quizlet is an excellent online resource that's free. That again, it's pre-populated flashcards that you can study from or then use as revision. So you can learn the information that is on those flashcards and then you can test yourself. If you Google an Inspector Calls quiz, you'll get loads. You can go on Kahoot. And you can create your own quizzes, as I've said that already. Okay, you've probably noticed quite a few Firefly tasks from me, Mrs. Howell. And we've got pages and pages of resources to help you. Now, this isn't supposed to be overwhelming. This is supposed to be helpful. So use your navigation buttons. If you search in your tasks for tasks set by me or your English teacher, I'm generally setting things for Year 11 right now and Year 10, then you'll notice I've given you links to our GCSE pages. I've reworked these over recent weeks, so everything is quite logically structured. As you can see from the image, you can see navigation buttons for each section of the language exams. There's one of these for language paper 1 and 2, and for all of the literature texts. Where you see the letters WTM, that refers to a walking, talking mock. That is basically a very detailed PowerPoint that might look overwhelming, but the walking, talking mock literally walks and talks you through the exam paper, what you need to do, how you need to answer the questions. You need to make sure that you access those if you're still struggling on what you need to do for that question. There are videos and guidance on there, and there's links to helpful pages and sites. Don't forget, you've got apps and websites at your fingertips. We pay for GCSE Pod. All of the videos for every single aspect of the English exam are there. Massalit is a great take it further resource. Seneca, again, for long-term memory and quizzing. As I've said, you've got Firefly and YouTube. You can always just Google YouTube, Mr. Bruff, AQA, English Literature or Language. Okay, it's down to you now. You'll never regret doing something, but always regret doing nothing. So just get started. Choose what works for you and do it. And don't forget, your English teachers are here to help you. Well done, Year 11. Thank you for listening. Now's time to